Welcome back, everyone. We are in a very news-driven market right now, recording this video in the beginning of January 2018. So I wanted to show you real quick how to scan for keywords with the news search. So one of the great things about Stocks to Trade is, we have a full news feed, but I often talk, it is a fire hose of information. So since most of you are probably very similar to me, looking to trade lower priced momentum stocks that are already moving. Now, when I say already moving, some newer traders might think, well, why would I want to trade it after it's already moving? But what you find with news-based stocks is quite frequently, just because there's news doesn't mean the stock is actually active or moving on the day. We want to look for, and I should say if you're day trading, now if you've got a little bit more of a longer-term profile, you may just want to know if the stock is in an industry and not necessarily care if it is already moving. So you can use these techniques for swing as well as day trade, but I'm going to focus a little bit on how I use it to day trade. So number one, right now we are in what I jokingly call blockchain mania. Almost every day, whether it be a fruit juice company or a biotech stock, or actually we saw recently a steel and rental equipment company pivot to blockchain. Well, what is the first thing they do? They're going to release that headline with blockchain, with cryptocurrency, etc. in the headline. So what I do, and I've got, I'm showing you one monitor just to preserve real estate, but I've got a basically separate monitor that is just all my news feeds scanning for the hot keywords of the day. They're always rotating, whether it be blockchain, whether it be cannabis, whether it be, a year or so back, it was Ebola. All these keywords are what the algos are scanning for, and what these companies that are looking to sell stock or get their price up, they know the algos are looking for it, they know the traders are looking for it, so they make sure to put these keywords in the press releases. So what I do is go to our news feed and just create a custom news scan right here, and you can basically create as many as you want for this particular scenario. I've just got the 3 just so it's not a mess to show you guys, but go to create new, and then that's going to bring you up a default, basically blank news screener. And then what I do is then I create as many of these as I need, depending on the hot terms of the day, and then I just plug in that term to the search box, hit enter, and then the beauty of it is you'll see it refreshed right there. This is real-time streaming. So now anything with blockchain mentioned will show up in the news feed. So I've got all of these running. I'm looking for new entries. They're all timestamped. So if something pops in blockchain, I can double click it, get the news, and then ultimately make the decision whether or not this is something I want to trade. Doesn't mean they're all trades, but does mean that they've issued a press release, a contract, an SEC filing, something related to that hot term. Then after I create it, just keep in mind that it's easy to, the best thing to do is rename them. You can just double click like you were renaming a file and call it, news scan for blockchain. I keep them simple, so I just will keep it named blockchain. That way I know when I go to reopen this screener, I know what the keyword it's already searching for. And then I also run it for, again, right now, cannabis is very hot. I'm running a cannabis one. I'm running a marijuana one. I'm running another good example is just searching for crypto. Now, actually, it's nice by searching for crypto, picked up today's kind of amusing cryptocurrency / blockchain run, Burg, B-U-R-G. They own a lot of restaurants, particularly like Hooters, and the stock ran 100% plus based on the fact that they were going to issue like cryptocurrencies on their rewards card for when you visit and buy stuff. So not all of these are investments, but they're all trade opportunities. Actually, BURG was a great trade. If you were super fast with the news, you could have went long, and then ultimately the market digested the news and it has been fading all day. So there's opportunities to short those as well. So if you're watching this live, check out BURG. If you're not, looking at BURG on January 2nd, 2018, and you'll see what I mean. So then the last tip, and this I do because, again, back to that point of I don't necessarily care if there is news. I want to know if the stock is moving. So number one, I'm going to right-click my header bar, just like you would in Excel to add a cell, and I'm going to go to show the percent change because I want to know, NET is a good example. It's up 23% today. They have blockchain in the press release. That is interesting to me. If it's a stock with blockchain in the press release, but it's up 0.0%, not really interesting to me as a momentum day trader. Now, as a swing trader or an investor, you may want to look at that, and do your due diligence and determine if maybe you think this thing has legs over time. Then the last tip is I, again, filter my results. Go to your wrench, hit filter, and then what I'm looking for is stocks greater than $1. There's a lot of marijuana stocks, a lot of cannabis stocks less than $1. So if you're doing those cannabis or marijuana screens, you probably don't want to do this. But I don't typically look to trade stocks less than $1. So I just want the news filtered out. And then I'm looking for anything up more than 5% on the day. Now, quite frequently in different markets, we're not in the low float mania. We're in blockchain mania. Back in, this summer, this fall, spring, last year, almost all my news screeners were filtering by float. I don't necessarily do that as much right now because a lot of these runners have been higher float stocks and I don't want to filter them out. And then you can filter for a bunch of other criteria, dollar volume, volume on the day. Volume on the day is a great one. Most of the time I'm staring at these news filters is in pre-market. So pre-market, the volume's lower. So I will typically leave the volume wide open until we get into the afternoon. And then I don't really care if the stock has news, if there's no volume. So hopefully this is helpful, everyone. The news, I love the news filter for this, or the news screener for this exact reason. I can rotate in and out whatever the hot sector is and plug those keywords in. And ultimately, again, doesn't mean there's a trade, doesn't mean you automatically jump in, but you know about it as early as anyone, and then you can ultimately make your trade decision based on that. So have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.